Hello students, let us start the lecture on the mathematical physics and electromagnetic theory 1. I am first taking up the first section of the paper, that is mathematical physics. In this I am starting with chapter 1, which is on the topic vector analysis. To study the vector analysis, we require the basics of the vectors. So let us first recall the basics of vectors which you have studied in your lower class. In physics, we come across what are called as physical quantities. Physical quantities are quantities which are measurable. Measurable means we can find the value of that. Example: mass, time, length, force, momentum, and so on. Physical quantities are classified into two types. First type is called as a scalars, second type is called as a vectors. There are physical quantities which can be completely described only with magnitude alone. Direction is not required. Such physical quantities are called as a scalars. Example of the scalar is mass, length, time. Let us take the example of the length. Suppose you want to find the length of the room. Whether you measure from one end to the other end or you measure from other end to the first end, it does not make any difference. So that means to describe the length, what is required is only magnitude. The second type of the physical quantity is called as a vector. Now these physical quantities have magnitude as well as direction. Let us take the example of vector and we'll see why the direction is required to describe such physical quantity. Example: a displacement is a vector quantity. Now suppose you are moving from Mapsa to Panjim. That means you are displacing from Mapsa to Panjim. The distance is 12 km. But suppose if you try to move from Mapsa for 12 kilometers in opposite direction, you will not reach Panjim. So here a direction is important. So to go to Panjim, you have to displace from Mapsa by 12 kilometers. Beside that, you have to move by particular direction. So direction is also essential. The direction, because of the direction, it exactly tells us the final destination. Let us take another example. Suppose a body is kept on the surface. Let us say that you apply the same magnitude of the force downward, toward the left, toward the right. The magnitude of the force applied is same. But in the first case, when you apply the force vertically downward, this body remains in the same position. If you apply the force this way toward the left, then body moves towards the left. Suppose you apply the force toward the right, then body moves toward the right. So which means the force, what is important beside the magnitude is also a direction. It brings about different result. So therefore force is a vector quantity. Vector is represented by a letter with the arrow on the top. Example, a force, we write F with an arrow on the top. Momentum, we write P with the arrow on the top. So that represents a vector quantity. If you write that letter without that arrow, or you write that vector within the two lines, that is, if you take a modulus of that, that tells us the magnitude of the given vector. On the paper, we can represent vector by line with an arrow. The length of the line always is proportional to the magnitude of that vector, and the arrow tells us the direction of the vector. Example, suppose we want to represent force of 2 newtons and 5 newtons on the paper. Let us say that 2 newtons is upward direction, 5 newtons is directed towards right. Then to represent it on a paper, what is to be done is you have to take a scale. Let us say that we take the scale 1 centimeter equal to 1 Newton. So to represent the 2 newtons, so we have to draw the line of 2 centimeters, arrow pointing in the upward direction. To represent the force of 5 newtons towards the right, we have to draw the line of 5 centimeters, arrow towards the right. Now suppose you draw like this vector and this vector. If the length of the both are same and they are parallel, then they are one and the same vectors. See, now they have the same magnitude, then same direction. Now same direction doesn't mean that the vector should coincide. Even if it is a parallel, that means a direction is same. So which means that a given vector, you can move anywhere in space parallel to itself as long as its length remains same and it is parallel to the original, then there is no change in that vector. Now suppose this vector A is there. If you change the direction, then it is called as a negative vector, that is minus vector A. Then let us see what are the equal vectors. Suppose two vectors are given, A and B. This vector A equal to vector B only if the magnitude of A is equal to magnitude of the B. Also, the direction of both are same. If the magnitudes are same but directions are different, those two vectors are not equal vectors. If the directions are same but magnitudes are different, then again they are not equal vectors. Suppose you take a vector and divide by its magnitude, then what results into is what is called as a unit vector. So vector of magnitude unity, and it is represented as letter A with a cap on the top. So when the cap is written, that means its magnitude is unity. So this is what is called as a unit vector. The unit vectors in the rectangular coordinate system, they are given symbols. Unit vector in the positive direction of x-axis is taken as I cap. Unit vector in the positive direction of y-axis is written as j cap, and the unit vector in the direction positive direction of z-axis is written as k cap. Suppose that they are directed along the negative x-axis, then it is a minus I cap. Negative y-axis, then minus j cap. Negative z-axis, then minus k cap. Suppose you want to find the position of a given body at a given instant. Now, to describe this position, we can use a rectangular coordinate system. Here, position will be specified with respect to the origin of that coordinate system, and it can be given by coordinates x, y and z. The x coordinate is nothing but what you get when you drop a perpendicular from that point on the x-axis, and when you measure a distance from the origin, that is the x coordinate. To find out y coordinate, drop a perpendicular from that point on the y-axis and measure this distance from origin. So that is the y coordinate. The z coordinate can be obtained by dropping a perpendicular from that point on the z-axis and measuring a distance from the origin. That gives the z coordinate. Another way to describe the position of the body at a given instant is to draw the vector from the origin to the point under the consideration. That vector is called as a position vector, and it is represented as vector small r. One can express this vector small r as equal to x I cap plus y j cap plus z k cap. This x, y and z, they are also called as the components of the position vector. The magnitude of the position vector is written as small r, and which is equal to square root of x square plus y square plus z square. Suppose there are two vectors, vector A and vector B, and you want to represent these two vectors by a single equivalent vector. Then what is to be done is, see, for this first vector, this is the tail and this is the head. Second vector can be anywhere. You can move it, and you should move it in such a way that tail of the second vector touches the head of the first vector. Then a vector drawn from the tail of the first vector to the head of the second vector is equivalent of these two vectors, and that is called as a resultant. The value of this resultant, that is magnitude of this resultant, is not equal to magnitude of this plus magnitude of this. In fact, the magnitude of the resultant is smaller than the sum of magnitude of these two vectors. But this resultant vector is equivalent to vector A and vector B together. Now, what I have just stated is nothing but law of parallelogram of vectors. Now, suppose you want to find out what is the value of r, what is the expression for the r. Then what you can do is, you move this parallel to itself from here and bring it here so that tails are touching each other. Then from that construct a parallelogram, and suppose angle between A and B is theta, then the magnitude of this resultant is given as square root of A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. Now, what I have just now stated is nothing but law of parallelogram of vectors.